1483, chapter 15, sign regulation public hearing. Mr. Nicker, is our groups and publications in order for this public hearing?
Those are.
I know the planning commission members were unaware that this topic was going to be on our agenda, as we did not discuss this at our study session. This comes from a request by the town council to rescind for the political signage section of our sign ordinance. The ordinance calls for the repeal of section G.2 in its entirety. Any initial thoughts on this, gentlemen?
Chairman, I'm wondering, G.2 includes more than just political signs, includes temporary signs and banners. Is there a reason why the entire section is stricken and not just the lower portion? That's my first question. I guess items under G2, political sign starts on item B through J. A deals with temporary signs and banners. I'm not sure if the intent is to strike that. And the second question that I had is the replacement language, or are we simply just striking that?
I had asked for replacement language, and I have not received any as of this time.
Mr. President, do you want an explanation? I'm happy to give an explanation on the record here.
I just don't know how in depth. Are we going, well, go ahead.
The town council directed at its May public meeting that the political sign portion of this, and they didn't say specifically political signs portions, but they directed that the political sign component of the zoning ordinance not be enforced, and that it be cleared from the zoning ordinance. And that's how I take it, generically as a description, a direction, and an action. I did look at the section G2 of that chapter. It's a 15-page chapter to your zoning ordinance. It has a lot of regulations in it. But the reason for that removal has to do with its application to the federal and the United States Supreme Court case that came down that has impacted lawsuit proceeding against this town. So you have to read all of that. You can't just read your ordinance. You can't just take those 15 pages and read it. You can't just take the permitted political signs and read it. You have to read the Gilbert lawsuit, decision by the United States Supreme Court. You have to take and understand that against what the regulations are. Political signs are permitted. Absolutely, they are permitted. They are permitted just like other signs are permitted in this town. So the deletion of the defined section G2, permitted political signs, was to take away the, or to remove from interpretation and enforcement a specifically described content-wise sign in this town as a violation or a regulation that you're creating. In other words, all signs could be treated nearly the same, if not the same. So we don't treat some signs as political, we don't treat some signs as other ones. That's what the case is talking about. So when I reviewed this, I looked at it in that context, the totality, not just a single or simple component. And I was asked by Mike about the replacement. It's my opinion, at least at this point, still, that the remaining regulations still work, subject to probably some adjustment based upon additional information that I am receiving, and most notably from the police chief in the last week. Unfortunately, the police chief is on vacation. For me, unfortunately, good for him. But there is additional information that I've been researching related to some aspects of replacement or addition. But at this point, removal of this seemed appropriate, given the body of the balance of the sign regulation portion of the ordinance.
I guess I understand it for the latter. My second question, the first question is that the first part of G2 item A has nothing to do with political signs.
G2 says permitted signs, permitted political signs, and A is political signs shall not be allowed more than 30 days before. That's been removed by this ordinance, this text amendment that is proposed. It's deleted.
Where are you reading that?
I'm reading something I think different than you're reading.
I've got,
No, I'm sorry.
I've got G.2, permitted signs in zoning districts except for commercial and industrial, temporary signs and banners, temporary signs, and as Jim said, section 8.
I understand, yeah, I think I understand everything you're saying, which, what I'm reading would start at item E and go down.
Right.
I'm just reading what I had. Based upon that, here's it. I have additional information to obtain from the police chief. I don't have any issues with the referral once you assess that.
Is there a list for public hearing on this one?
I handed it up to you, Mike. There's one name on it, I think.
All right. Are there any other questions or thoughts?
So I guess just mechanically, what are we being asked to do now with regard to this situation? What are we approving, denying, deferring, whatever?
The ordinance as written calls for the deletion of section G.2 in its entirety
Without replacement?
without replacement.
Does that make sense then?
In the context of what Attorney Austin stated, that other provisions of the sign ordinance would govern, you're saying would govern the political signs. I just have a disagreement with item A.
In fact, what the intent is to delete the phrase political from the sign regulations so that the signs are treated the same from a content perspective. The Reed versus Town of Gilbert case had to do with content and special regulations that were imposed upon political signs, or struck that down. Right. Saying you can't have special separate rules for street signs that have messaging.
In G2, item F, the political signs are allowed only with the permission of the owner of the premises.
All signs are permitted on private property only with the permission.
So that would be redundant with another provision.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly saying why that would be acceptable to strike that.
And I was trying to clean it up in that fashion.
So the one piece then, the area restrictions that govern temporary signs like this are in item A, and that's the piece that I think needs to be made, because it's not specific to any particular type of sign, political or otherwise. It just deals with restrictions on the size of a temporary sign.
And that I did not have. I must have had a different version.
I don't know that anywhere else in this ordinance that it states that language, that the homeowner has the authority to say no or get permission. Well, as I recall, when we did the sign ordinance, that topic was only discussed during the political signs.
I've seen it.
Would we be able to keep A?
You
Mike?
can't. you may. This is your recommendation to the town council. So you may do that.
Mr. Chairman, I did not receive any specific language regarding, I think you're referring to G or G2.
G2.
I did not receive any specific information with regards to
There's no replacement tax.
No, we were sent copies of the ordinance, the repeal ordinance, but again, there was no discussion on replacement language.
Okay, I didn't receive the original language then.
What's in the current ordinance? You have a copy of the ordinance?
I did not.
Give it to us on first night.
No, I looked. I do not have a zoning ordinance.
It's available.
It's on the website. I obviously, I can't believe it.
No.
I have. I'm gonna,
I'm sorry, just for reference to you all, there is a prohibited signs section. And you'll find in P, signs on any property without the consent of the party having the right of present possession, which is a prohibited sign. You have, and I can only liken it to all of you at your homes. If somebody showed up in the middle of the night and dropped a sign in your yard, for sale by owner, whatever it says, you gave no permission for it, that's a prohibited sign. And your ordinance says that.
and
Inherently, it says that about any sign.
And I do take back what I said, because item 4 under G2 says temporary signs are only allowed with permission of the property owner.
That's under A, which I think should be left.
Well, it's there and it's also with prohibited signs, inherently is in C.
I don't think some of the other requirements, because A has 5 points to it. So I think there's.
I understand.
You have requirements, I think maybe would be good to leave.
But I want you to know I did read that. Trying to pull the brakes tighter.
Any questions? All right, hearing none, I'm going to open the floor to public comment. First name is Jerry Sweats.
Here's what's 9490 Joliet Street. In the interest of time, I'm going to make this very brief. When can I put up my sign that says vote for Jerry Sweats, Lake County Recorder? Is there a time restriction on that?
Apparently not anymore.
Okay, so I can put that anywhere in St. John.
Where you have permission. You go to Mr. Burleson's house and he says no,
Okay, but I mean,
or Mr. Forbes' house, or if you don't mind.
okay, that's the only question I have.
That's advertisement too.
Any volunteers for my
Mr.
sign?
Hero? Joe Hero?
Joe Hero, 1723 South Oak Ridge Drive. I requested a copy of what was on the agenda today from the clerk treasurer and some of these people up here, and there was a lot of confusion. I think this should be, first of all, deferred till you have something substantial in your hand, so you can all read and understand what's going on, because based on the conversation, nobody seemed to know what was going on. So I think in order to make a intelligent decision, you have to have a piece of paper in front of your hand, and then obviously that was not provided to you or not available to the public. Second item is this. I would ask that when you draft the new sign ordinance, that any public official who removes a sign that's a political sign for any reason at all be terminated from the town of St. John. I ask that you put that right into the sign ordinance as a penalty for any person who is an employee of the town, that he be terminated immediately.
So you want anybody that's removed, any employee?
Any employee who illegally removes a political sign be terminated. Okay, put that right in the ordinance. Also, I would ask that you put in the ordinance that any public official, elected public official, who assists in the removal of a political sign illegally, be deemed to have resigned his office. Thank you.
Wow, that's good. Gentlemen, notwithstanding the foregoing, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I would like to make sure that reviewing our executive.
A lot of sausage.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion to defer to our study session.
So moved?
Mr. Williams, second by Mr. Wolf.